Hi everyone, I just watched The Electric State. That's a new movie out on Netflix last night, and I thought I'd give you sort of a dad's perspective review on that because I feel that it is sort of catered or trying to be a bit of a family movie, but I definitely have mixed feelings about that. Before I get into the review, I'm a sci fantasy author. I wrote a book called The Song of Immeru, Earth's Door. If you'd like to learn more about that, information in the description below. So, The Electric State. I decided to watch this because I saw a lot of negative reviews actually coming out on YouTube, which I thought was pretty interesting. And most people were complaining that the movie was just extremely boring and derivative, despite a massive budget, I guess over $300 million, that it really fell short. That being said, on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score wasn't terrible. I think it was, above 60, 70%, at least at the time. Yeah, last night I had enough free time that I decided to take a look, especially since it was claiming to be more of a family-friendly film. My wife and I have 3 kids, and the oldest 2 are like 12 and 13 age range, and I just introduced them to Lord of the Rings, and they like Narnia. Probably going to introduce them to Star Wars here at some point. But I thought, hey, if this movie looks like it has some kind of cool robots, and if it is geared a little bit more for family audiences, let me screen it and see how it is. So the premise of the movie is basically a 1990 time frame, and there's been a war between all these robots that Walt Disney had created that became a bit sentient and wanted rights and just kind of live their lives and not have to do specific chores that they've been designed to do. The humans weren't pleased with that, so the robots protested. Then there was a war. Eventually, Bill Clinton, who they AI-ified into the movie, which was funny, strikes a deal with the main robot leader. And none of this is really spoilers because it all happens in the first few minutes of the movie, and they're sent off into the southwest of the United States to have to stay within this particular area as part of the treaty. Then things kick off with our main protagonist, who's Millie Bobby Brown. You would know her as Eleven from Stranger Things, if you've ever watched Stranger Things. She's definitely a really good actress, does a nice job in this movie. And then there's also her brother, who's a primary character. His name is Christopher. He's played by an actor I'd never seen before named Woody Norman. And then there's some other main characters as well, sort of the rogue buddy that joins up with Millie Bobby Brown, played by Chris Pratt, who's Star-Lord on Guardians of the Galaxy, if you've ever seen that. He always acts the same. He seems the same in every single movie, so he pretty much plays himself in this one. But anyway, the movie is about 2 hours long, and I would say it's definitely entertaining. The robots look really good. The CGI is super good. I would expect that with how big of a budget it is. The things I liked most about it were it did feel like I was watching a movie when I was much younger. So I grew up in the 90s. It was like 1990, I was 8. So, 8 to 18, that was really, a key decade in my life. Kind of gave me that same nostalgia as watching The Goonies or Flight of the Navigator. I guess that's a lot older. Short Circuit, even had some like E.T. feeling vibes. I heard some people say it aiming to feel more like Steven Spielberg, and I would say it does. I think he made one called Super 8 a little more recently, and it did have that feel. Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining enough for me, but giving you the dad's perspective review, the family-friendly review, the movie had quite a bit more swearing than I'd be really comfortable showing the kids right now. I thought if they were aiming to be more of a family-friendly movie, where the kids and the adults can all watch and enjoy, if they had just toned that down a bit, I think they would have really hit that demographic well. So I don't really know why they chose to drop in so many so much cussing. It really didn't say add to the movie. Yeah, just leaned a little bit too much into the adult side for me. So yeah, it's an entertaining movie, fine to watch. With older teenagers, probably not the younger kids for sure. At least that'd be my recommendation. Other than that, the plot was fine. It was pretty basic. Nothing riveting there. The end battle got a little bit silly. In fact, I thought the ending of it started becoming a bit more kid-friendly with the action scenes, because it's like robots fighting robots. The violence is pretty tame, fine, and the robots had fun personalities too. Again, that's why I think the kids would like it a lot. But for me, too much swearing, so I wouldn't recommend. This is a family film, but if you or you have some older kids in the family want to watch a movie that is at least entertaining, and I should note also has a decent and interesting theme around, I think it's trying to go for how the internet sucked everyone into basically a cyber world and there's no human connections anymore and so forth. And I think that's pretty, it's a reasonable message for nowadays. You're even watching this right now on the internet. So I guess I'm propagating that myself. But yeah, nice message at the end about trying to ensure human connections. And one other thing I really liked about the movie was the relationship between the brother and the sister was really nice. They really cared for each other, and I think that's kind of not something I see as much in any sort of entertainment anymore. Usually families and siblings and parents and kids, they're all they don't care about each other as much, it seems, but this played nicely into that with those two actually caring. So anyway, that's my thoughts on The Electric State. If you're a parent and you've watched it, curious your thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. And yeah, if you'd like to learn more about me as an author, more in the description. Take care. Bye.